With this video, we're going to talk about significant digits, and the subtitle is How to Tell the Truth When Doing Calculations. Well, the definition of a significant digit is the number of digits in a number that are used to express it to the required degree of accuracy. And there's that word again, accuracy. Well, there are four rules for significant digits. The first rule is that all non-zero numbers are always significant. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Anytime you see those in a number, they're always significant. They're always important. Number two, all zeros that are between non-zero numbers are always significant. So what that means is if you have a number 4, a number 0, and a number 9, well, that 0 is significant because it's between non-zero numbers. It's between the 4 and between the 9. So it's always significant. Okay? The third rule is that all zeros at the beginning of a number are never significant. So if you see any zeros at the beginning of a number, like 00.09, these three zeros are never significant. So this number has one significant digit. And the last rule is zeros at the end of a number are only significant if there's a decimal in the number. Okay, so if we have 409.0, this would be four significant digits because there's a decimal here. So this number would be significant. Okay, but if we had this would be one significant digit because there's not a decimal there. Okay, so when I remember the rules for significant digits, I think of always, sometimes, and that's going to be number 4, and never. Always, sometimes, and never. Okay, there's two rules for always. Non-zero numbers are always. 0 in the middle of two non-zeros are always. Never at the beginning. And sometimes at the end, and it depends on if there's a decimal in the number. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Okay, here we have some numbers that we are going to find out or see if we can find out how many significant digits there are. So let's look at this first number right here. 48923. How many significant digits do you think that number has? Pause the video. This has 5 significant digits. Okay, these are all non-zeros, so they're all significant. Okay, how many do you think this one has? You can pause the video when you think you have it, restart it. Okay, this one has 4 significant digits. Okay, how many do you think this one has? Okay, this one has 5 significant digits. And how many does this one have? 1 significant digit. And this one? 5 significant digits. Now the reason this only has 1 is because these are never significant when they're at the beginning of a number. It doesn't matter about the decimal here because these are at the beginning, so they're never significant. This one, they're at the end of a number, and that's the sometimes rule. Sometimes they're significant. Why? Only when there's a decimal in the number, and here we do see a decimal, so that makes these significant, so that's 5 there. Okay, so on the next one, how many significant digits do we have here? Okay, there's 6 significant digits. Why are there 6? Well, this one's a sandwich. This was in between two significant digits, two non-zero numbers. So that's going to make that significant. This 0 is between two non-zero numbers. So that's significant. Here we have one at the end of a number, and we have to decide if this one is significant or not. And we're going to say, yes, it is, because we see a decimal. So we have 6 significant digits here. Okay, this next number, 1 significant digit. These are at the end of a number, but you can see there's no decimal there. And if there's no decimal there, then this one is the only one that's significant. And finally, this last one, we have 3 significant digits. The zeros are at the end, but there's a decimal. Okay? Now let's do some practice in scientific notation. In our last video, we learned how to write scientific notation. Now let's just review that. Okay? So how would we write this first number in scientific notation? Okay? Write your first number and put a decimal. Now, how many times do we have to move? The decimal point is how many times is the number we're going to put here for our exponent. So we had to move it 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times. Okay? So it's 4.8923. We're going to write all of those numbers down because they're significant. Times 10 to the 4th power. Now, is this going to be positive or negative? Well, this is a large number. If this is a large number, it's a positive exponent. We had to move our decimal to the left, so that makes this positive. If we move our decimal to the right, we have a negative number. Okay? 3.967 times 10 to the 3rd power. Okay? So we're going to have 9.0006 times 10 to the 2nd power. Okay? Here we're going to have 4.0 times 10 to the -3 power. We're moving our decimal this time to the right. Oops, excuse me, I made a mistake. That's the -4th power. Okay, so see, you have to be careful. We're moving it to the left, to the right this time, so it's a negative number. Okay, because look, this is a small number, very small number, 0.0004, small number, so we're going to have a negative exponent here. Okay, now this next one, 8.1 times 10 to the 1st power. I'm sorry, 0 power. 0, because we didn't have to move it. We didn't have to move the decimal at all, because there's the decimal. Okay, so when it's to the 0 power, we're not moving the decimal. It's already where it needs to be. But this is how we'd write it in scientific notation. Okay, this next one has 6 significant digits, so it's 5.01040 times 10 to the 2nd power. Okay, and this next one, 3.0 times 10 to the 6th power. And finally, 1.0 times 10 to the 1st power. Okay? Very good. Well, why are significant digits important? Well, let's look at this problem and you'll see why. All right, we have Lightning McQueen. He's going to travel 233 miles in 2.3 hours. Okay, so what we want to know here is what is his speed? Okay, to get that, we're going to take 233 miles. We're going to divide it by the distance, which is 2.3 hours. Now this is average speed. Average speed is distance over time. Okay, so let's write that out because we're going to need to know this for our project. Speed is equal to distance over time. And this is average speed. Okay, because he could have gone a little faster at times and a little slower at times. So we're going to just average all this up and say he went this distance in this time. Okay, so when we take that and we divide it out, we're going to get a pretty big number. I mean, it's not a big number, it's a number with a lot of digits. So let's write that down. If you have a calculator, you can do this and verify my math. 304 34 78261. Okay, that's what you get on a calculator. Now, do we have to write this whole entire number down when we're answering a question? The answer to that is no. You should not write this whole entire number down, because the rule for significant digits when you're doing a problem like this is that the answer can only be as accurate as the number in the given data with the least amount of significant digits. So here's our data. This is what's given to us. So let's look at that. So how many significant digits are in 233? If you said 3, you'd be correct. And how many significant digits are in 2.3? 2. That would be correct. Okay, so our answer can only have 2 significant digits. Okay, so let's look at this. 101.30. All these numbers out here are lies. They don't really exist like that. They're just an estimation. Okay, so we can't use those. So how do we write this number with just 2 significant digits? It can only have 2 significant digits. So if we wrote this number as 101, okay, and we're going to look at this 3 to see if we round this 1 up. Okay, and remember the rules on rounding. If the number 101, we're going to look at this 3 to see if we're going to round. Now, the rules on rounding is that if you have 1, 2, 3, or 4, you don't round. But if it's 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, then you do round the number that's in front of it. Okay, so 101, this is a 3, so we're not going to round. So our number is 101. But the most significant digits we can have is 2. So look at this. How many significant digits are in this number? Well, we see 3, right? We cannot have 3 significant digits. So 100 miles per hour. We're going to have to change this number to a non-significant digit, which would make it 0. So the most accurate answer is 100 miles per hour. Now this only has how many significant digits? 1. It only has 1 significant digit because these zeros at the end are not significant. Okay, but we can't have 3, so we can only, there's no other option. Okay, so it's 100 miles per hour is the most accurate answer that we can give for this problem. Okay. So I have the question a lot of times is, where do you want us to round it? And really, I should say count your significant digits. But that's going to be the most accurate answer. So sometimes it'll say to the nearest tenth place, round your answer to the nearest tenth, so you'd have that. Sometimes it says the nearest hundredth answer, so it says that. Okay, so follow the instructions in the problem. If you don't get instructions in the problem, then you need to count significant digits, and you need to do it that way.